Come and dream with me.
Hello and welcome to this What Do You Want to Watch discussion about Day 4 of San Diego Comic-Con. I'm Ashley Hobley. Joining me today, Dylan Blight.
What happened?
Comic-Con happened.
Oh, okay.
Like I kind of predicted yesterday, Day 4, reasonably quiet. I think the only thing that I saw them put out, there's a new trailer for C Season 3. See, the Jason Momoa TV show?
I think it's the last season, right?
It is the last season. Apparently they can see now, that's the thing.
Oh.
They could start to see. All they had to do was kill Batista. I don't know if he died.
I've watched one episode of season 1.
I heard they can see now. It's the thing about they've got vision now. So yeah. But yeah. Kind of want to follow up from a couple of different things. So obviously Marvel was the big thing from yesterday. A couple of smaller stories have come out since. Firstly, I don't know if I said it here or I said it on the episode of What Do We Want to Watch that will release tomorrow, but I said maybe the Russos are coming back to direct the next two Avengers movies. It's been confirmed by Kevin Feige that they're not coming back. Which is interesting because then who do you get to direct those two massive films?
I don't know, but I think it has to be someone who's like already in. I don't think you give someone's first Marvel movie to someone, like you give it to James Gunn or someone. I feel.
Yeah. Out of the
current
roster,
James Gunn should get it, but
no.
Yeah.
But out of that roster of people that they've got at the moment, who seems most likely? No one really screams Avengers. You know what I mean?
Feel like it honestly is James Gunn. Now that I've said that, if I had to pick one person out of who's there currently directing multiple Marvel movies, I feel like I would pick James Gunn.
Yeah, I can't think of who else it could possibly be.
No.
It is, it's going to be an interesting one to tackle down the road. It could be somebody that, we get along the way. There's still a whole other phase to go. So, between now and the Avengers. But yeah, something on that scale is going to be interesting to see who is going to tackle that. Is it going to be the same person doing both of those films, or are they going to have separate directing teams?
I think
especially when they're so close together. Is it good to have them? I assume they're shooting back to back. But do you want?
They should be the same director. They should be the same director.
I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting. It's going to be something we'll have to. Maybe they'll have something at D23. But yeah.
The thing is also, it's very easy now to be like, oh, how would you find anyone like the Russos again? Or like, man, the Russos, they've always been shooting these big comic book movies. They came from Community, Yeah,
they were shooting TV, basic stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would assume they'd want someone from inside, or someone Disney as a conglomerate trusts. So, so for all we know, J.J. Abrams comes in and directs. No. Other confirmations. Eros. They made sure to mention that Eros, who we all saw at the end of Eternals, played by Harry Styles, is coming back. Despite there being no announcements for the Eternals. Harry Styles will show up in something. That was something they confirmed.
I mean, I love that announcements these days. When we're scraping the bottom barrel, hey, that guy from that cameo, from that thing, we're happy to confirm he will be in something. Love that. Awesome.
And then, they also confirmed, because there was one show that was not mentioned at all, and that was Armor Wars, the series are set to revolve around Warhammer, War Machine, kind of dealing with, the proliferation of Tony Stark's tech in the wilds. That wasn't mentioned at all, but apparently it is still in the works. It's still coming. It could just be released at a separate date. And of course, all these phases elements is still very much in flux. I would suspect that would be the earliest at 2024. Like, it's definitely not coming next year. It could be the year after. I mean, next year looks pretty set. I can't imagine them adding anything extra, except possibly Ms. Marvel Season 2. But, I mean, they could even push that because she'll be in Marvels next year.
Yeah, I actually forgot entirely about this until I saw someone.
Most people did.
Yeah, someone tweeted about it last night. I was like, where the fuck was that? I was like, that's a good point, because they did announce that along with some of these things, like, all at the same time, like the Harkness and whatever else. I think that was all like part of the same announcement, right?
Yes.
So it's a bit weird it was left out. But I mean, we know she's in something. Like, we know she's in Black Panther, so.
Ironheart, yeah. I mean, the Ironheart series is coming. It's just the Armor Wars series with War Machine.
I thought, but should be in that too, right?
Yeah, I imagine should be in both, but.
Yeah. So. The other announcement I saw for War Machine was, we're happy to confirm War Machine, John Cheadle, will make an appearance in Avengers, whatever they were. I'm like,
he'll be in
cool.
Secret Invasion, I believe.
Oh, Secret Invasion, right, okay. Like, again, a character from a thing will be in a thing.
Also, they confirmed that they messed up and they put Reggae John Page's name on the list of the cast of Secret Invasion. He's not in Secret Invasion.
Who's that?
Reggae John Page, the guy from Bridgerton. He was in the Dungeons and Dragons trailer.
Oh, right. Yep.
Yeah.
Who was he on? Like, what thing was he on?
He was apparently on the cast list for Secret Invasion. He was not meant to be.
That's very weird. A random person to get their name on there.
Yeah.
Seems sus to me.
It could be, they're like, oh, he's not meant to be on there, but he's really actually on there.
Yeah, seems sus.
Subterfuge. Sounds like a spy thriller to me.
Damn right.
Unsurprising to anybody, a bunch of merches or toys have already been released, including people's first looks at Ironheart, because, all the pop vinyl figures have come out. So, yeah, if you want to know what Ironheart looks like, go check that out. It's kind of there's no avoiding it. Like, all these toys that come out, it's like kind of ruin it. All kind of spoil.
Because like people always like try and pull out the Lego and be like, the Lego's spoiling stuff, but the Lego stuff never actually happens in the movies half the time.
I mean, it's pretty broad. It's like, it's just how it looks. So, noticeable, there is no Black Panther figure amongst all the Black Panther stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, yeah. Because
we don't know who's going to be Black Panther.
Yeah.
It's a smart choice. So yeah, that's the thing. The other day I was like, hey, DC announced a bunch of DC animated films. I finally found them. So, obviously, Green Lantern, Beware My Power was released, or they showed it at Comic-Con. Later this year, we're getting Batman and Superman Battle of the Super Sons. We're also getting Ruby X Justice League. So a crossover between the Rooster Teeth animated series, Ruby, and the Justice League. Which makes sense because they're all owned by Warner. And then a few unannounced titles. Batman: The Doom that came to Gotham is coming. Legion of Superheroes is coming. Justice League Warworld is coming, and Justice Society of America feature as well is in the works. Yeah, some interesting choices in there. Batman: The Doom that came to Gotham is a version, like an Elseworlds tale that sees a 1920s Batman being Batman, dealing with like Cthulhu creatures and that kind of stuff. Of course, Legion of Superheroes is a group of superheroes from the year 3000 or whatever. So, and then Justice League World will feature our Mogul and Mongol, and like that massive War World machine thing that's been prominent in a bunch of different DC animated projects. So yeah, followed that up. My question, as we've come to the end of this run of podcasts that we've had, is San Diego Comic-Con a must stop? A must be at event still?
It's hard to say.
Like
because
6 years ago, like at the, I would want to say Phase 2 Marvel, it felt like every single project was going to, that was even slightly nerdy, went to Comic-Con. Now it's Marvel, a little bit of Warner Brothers, Game of Thrones, Kevin Smith, some other fantasy properties. I mean, it's kind of crazy what Warner Brothers didn't show off, especially when we know Batgirl is reasonably well done. Blue Beetle is definitely in production. Like, you couldn't have shown anything from those two projects. I understand why you wouldn't have done anything with the Flash, because that's
I was going to say, I saw someone point out that like, hey, the Flash is coming out, and like they had nothing.
That's just a pure clusterfuck, and they've got no idea what they're doing with that. So that's explainable. But yes, what do you think?
My thing with Comic-Con is always everyone treats it like it's an event that's entirely ridden on its movie and TV news, but there's so much comic book news that happens at Comic-Con. So should Comic-Con exist, or like, is it a one-stop shop or whatever? I think for pop culture, movie and TV news, no, because a bunch of other conventions and stuff happen now where the information's spread out. Similar to what happened to video games with E3. So like you got D23, a lot will happen there. You got Star Wars Celebration, a lot, obviously Star Wars stuff happens there. Warner Brothers has been putting on their own thing the last couple of years. What the fuck is that called?
DC Fandom, yeah.
Fandom, which I think they'll continue, and that's possibly why they've held back some stuff, because they're like, oh fuck, we can just do that. Which I think, honestly, I think that's fine. I think like not having Comic-Con not be this like one weekend where everything drops at the same time and you get more information spread throughout a 12-month period or a 6-month period, I guess, is better, I think. And it also means that, because there are, and I understand there's like an element of like sort of gatekeeping to it, but also elitism / whatever. But also think it's a fair criticism sometimes. I've read stuff where hardcore comic book nerds used to get really annoyed as Comic-Con's popularity grew and Walking Dead and all these other things, like the TV show took over and whatever else. They got pissed off that there wasn't more panels dedicated to the comic books rather than the shows that spawned. You know what I mean? Like that sort of stuff, which I've always found like interesting, and like I get it to a point. I'm like, I get it. Like, you know, this convention started as a comic book convention, and now it's sort of known as a now it's become as the con where people talk about stuff based on comic books, not comic books, to the point that I feel like most average people, if you were like, hey, they announced this comic book at Comic-Con, they'll be like, huh? You know, like, they did a what now? There's comic books at Comic-Con? Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, I think it's fine.
Yeah, I think it's fine as well. It's just a little bit sad that, you know, like E3 dying, I guess, or being close to death, it's like, you know, it's nice to have this one weekend where we get a bunch of cool news at the same time. And I think it still is a major event and still worth going to. I think, although Marvel like kind of overshadowed everything over the weekend and was probably the biggest winner, I think the other big property that succeeded over this weekend is probably Dungeons and Dragons, which I feel got more press than it probably would have gotten if it had just at any other event possible. You know, that is a film that nobody knew anything about, and like everybody kind of knows it and has been talking about it over the weekend. So,
my dad, who knows nothing about Game of Thrones or Dungeons and Dragons or what any of these are, he said the other day, "Is Dungeons and Dragons connected to Game of Thrones?"
What'd you say?
Because they were both. I said yes, because they were both trailers that he saw on YouTube that he clicked on and watched and had dragons in them. So I guess he was like, they both come out of Comic-Con. They both said Comic-Con trailers. Must be connected.
Absolutely.
So I said yes.
Save yourself some time. All right. Any other things you want to discuss, talk about? I will say one of my favorite things from the weekend is Tom Taylor and Tom King were in the same room for a panel. Almost break the internet because, everybody likes to confuse the two.
That Gizmo thing,
Yes.
that's cool. I don't know if we went over that.
We did briefly, yeah.
We made a joke about the dude being like the fucking.
Sure,
Grogu
Dante
looks
got upset
exactly
about
Grogu
being a
looking like
ripoff,
him.
but yes, the animated series is coming to HBO Max sometime this next 12 months, I think.
Yeah,
Animated
but I was like,
prequel
that's cool.
series, yeah.
I love those films. I used to watch them a lot. Me and my brother both love those films. To the point that my brother, when we were younger, he had a Gizmo toy or whatever, stuffed toy or whatever when we were kids. Those movies definitely have a big part of my childhood. So that's something I think I forgot to mention. That I was like, that's cool. I can't wait to watch that. But otherwise, I think we're good.
I think we're good. I think the only other interesting story is there's going to be a SpongeBob SquarePants crossover with all the SpongeBob SquarePants spin-offs.
SpongeBob has spin-offs?
There's Camp Coral, which I believe is a prequel series. And then there's the Patrick Star Show, which I guess is Patrick getting his own show.
I did not know this at all.
Yep. So they're all crossing over.
Wow.
Incredible.
Streams.
And then shout out to Jack Wade, who went around the show floor dressed in a Scream hoodie.
Did he?
He was wearing the Scream mask on the show floor.
He did the mask celebrity thing this year.
Yeah.
There's always one.
There is always one.
What's your favorite of those?
I love Andrew Garfield dressing up as Spider-Man. Before he was Spider-Man, that's something that goes down in Comic-Con folklore. But probably Bryan Cranston going around as
that's mine. That was the one I was going to say. That is my favorite
with a Heisenberg mask on. Yeah,
yeah.
That's pretty funny.
That was very funny. That's my favorite.
All right, let us know what you loved from San Diego Comic-Con by going to explosion.com/Twitter or jump to our Discord at explosion.com/Discord. If you want to help us out here at What Do You Want to Watch, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on Podchaser, or tell people about the show. And if you've enjoyed our 4-day coverage of San Diego Comic-Con from the other side of the world and thought it was worth $1, head on over to our Ko-fi page at explosion.com/support. Thank you very much for listening. Until next time, keep watching stuff, I guess.